Hello and welcome to the second edition of my Talking to Unicorns. This is the name that I've given this little chat series. And today I am going to be talking to a friend of mine that I have worked with plenty of times. We've worked in startups together, and now she is also helping me with a rebrand for the Unicorn Factory, but we're going to talk a bit more about that soon. But welcome, Hollie. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. Thank you for having me and talking to me.
So for all the people watching this right now that don't know who you are and what do you do, what is like the quick rundown of it all?
So I have my own business called Black and White Studios, and right now that is all about doing brand strategy and brand consulting. That's my jam.
Nice. Also, while we're on the topic, I saw that on Friday you're speaking at Creative Mornings.
I am, yes.
So like what's the talk all about? How did it all eventuate, and are you ready for it?
So I have been going to Creative Mornings in Wellington basically since it opened. I've been volunteering there. I go along to as many of the talks that I can. And I've always wanted to speak there and was just kind of waiting for the opportunity. And then I know Ryan, who now runs the Creative Mornings. He's the host. And he had approached me because this is the first virtual Creative Mornings that New Zealand Creative Mornings chapters are doing. Obviously, because of coronavirus, we can't get together and do Creative Mornings, so they're doing it virtually. And Ryan said, hey, I know that you teach online a lot already. You've done a bunch of like webinars and stuff like this on the regular. So he thought I would be perfect. And the global theme for Creative Mornings this month is purpose. My whole thing is about working with purpose-driven businesses, and I talk a lot about purpose and what I do and what I teach. And so, just came about perfectly. I'm not 100% ready. I've got some slides to do and that sort of thing, but I will definitely be ready for Friday. So I'm excited.
Amazing. So I just realized when this comes out, it will probably have already happened. So,
yeah.
but because it is a virtual like meetup, I suppose there will be a recording of it. So I'm sure I will link on this website that doesn't exist yet, but will exist at some point. I'll link to it. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to talk to you about just you working as a brand expert. I mean, we recently worked together on the Unicorn Factory rebrand, or we're still working on it now. And the big reason why I wanted to bring you on is because what we did, the first part in this whole process was our strategy session together. And you came to our office and we spent about an hour, maybe a bit longer, just going over the process of kind of figuring out the brand. And I had an amazing time with it, but I just wanted to hear from you, like how you got into branding and kind of how you approach branding when working with your clients.
Yeah, so I got into branding because I originally studied a Bachelor of Visual Communications Design. So I had done a bit of branding through that and just started getting interested in it. But I didn't really do a lot of it actually at university. I focused mainly on print design and editorial and typography. That was like my jam at uni. And then when I left uni, I had been freelancing alongside everything that I'd been doing, and continued to freelance while I was doing other jobs. I had a job as a UX and UI designer. I was also like a marketing designer, and then I worked with you at a startup doing like creative direction, UX and UI, writing, pretty much everything. And throughout that time, I had done a few brands for freelance clients, and I just sort of realized that that was my favorite thing to do, and that there was a lot of value that I could provide for businesses in doing that. And so I eventually just graduated into doing full brand identities as opposed to just like little one-off design projects. And then now, most recently, I've switched from just doing the identities to mostly doing the strategy, and kind of figuring out the messaging and everything that goes into the identity, and then doing a little bit of identity design on top of that. So yeah, it's kind of been a journey, but it's just been me figuring out what I enjoy and what I can, what I'm the best at, and what I can provide the most value for my clients by doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's the way that I approach branding, is that I want to provide the most value that I possibly can. And that is a little bit why I transitioned into doing strategy, because I realized that doing like logo design or identity design without strategy is actually not very valuable. And so I added that as a service, because I was kind of already doing it already with my clients, like doing mini versions of what you and I did,
Mm-hmm.
or doing questionnaires and stuff like that. And then I made it into its own service. So now I offer just doing those workshops. And I also teach brand strategy to my students as well. And so, yeah, my whole, I guess, approach is that I want to help people to build their business. And I think the best way to do that is by having a really solid strategy from the beginning that then influences everything else that you do, whether that's design or marketing or your products or your services or whatever. It all starts with the strategy. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and that's my perspective, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, when they think about branding initially, what pops to mind is like what color their website is and what their logo is. But that was like a
Mm-hmm.
big learning from when we worked together, which was like the first part of the process had very little to do with any of that. It had
Yeah.
more to do with really clarifying, I suppose, how you feel about it. So,
Mm.
you know, like how that was kind of how that was kind of like was my main takeaway. It was like I started to like you asked me a whole bunch of questions, and they basically made me look at it from a look at the brand from a perspective that I felt like I couldn't have looked at by myself because
Mm.
I'm too invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question that I have is, if you are a branding person, how
Mm-hmm.
can you convey that to people who don't know about branding? Because a lot of people will consider branding as like, oh, I should just get a logo designer. Like how,
Mm-hmm.
like what is it that makes people like knock on your door and go, Hollie, I really need to like redefine my brand? Is it just simply that they want a different logo, or is it more than that?
I think that's usually what people think that they're coming to me for, or they'll often come and say like, hey, something's not right with my brand, or it's not working, or I don't feel good about it. And the thing that's actually wrong is not the logo, or it's not the brand. Like that, the identity could probably work for someone else, or it might work for you for a little bit longer, but the problem underneath that is that the strategy is not right, and you haven't been thinking about those questions that I asked you, and probably you have been way too close to it, especially if you're doing all the design and all that stuff yourself. So yeah, I guess the way that I can explain that to people is by asking them those questions. And usually when people reach out to me, I'll, hop on a call with them, or I'll send them a questionnaire, and I'll say like, hey, why do you want to redo your brand? Why do you feel like it's not working? What do you feel isn't working? How long has it felt like this? That sort of stuff. And then that gets people thinking like, okay, maybe this is deeper than just the logo's not good or whatever. And then I can teach them like, hey, the reason that you're feeling like this, or that the brand's not reaching the right people, or it's not reaching enough people, is because it isn't set up correctly from the beginning. And we need to do that intense foundational work in order to make it worth it, because otherwise you're just kind of putting pixels on a screen, or like pixels on paper, but those shapes don't mean anything if you haven't done the work behind it. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I know
definitely a
what you mean.
process.
Yeah.
And Yeah.
It feels like you're
Yeah.
putting bandages on top of like something that is broken in the first place. I don't know if like the website is like, or like, because I can only look at it from the perspective of the unicorn factory, but it kind of felt like it was just like plonking stuff on top of each other.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, if you want to like really take it to the next level, you need to take care of like the more foundational stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like the main thing that comes from doing the brand strategy and everything is clarity and direction. And so, yeah, that's it. Is like, if you feel like you're just like plonking stuff in, it's because you don't have a clear direction. You don't have clarity on like, why am I plonking that thing there? I don't know. I'm just doing it because I feel like I should. I don't know. But when you can, sit back and go, okay, I'm plonking this thing here for a reason, and I know what that reason is, and I know that it's going to help my clients, or it's going to help me grow my audience or whatever, then that's way more powerful.
Now, as a branding person, were you impacted by COVID-19 at all, or were you relatively unaffected by it all?
I definitely have been affected in some ways. One is that I don't think I've had as many people reach out to me as I normally would at this time of the year. But the good thing is that prior to COVID-19, I had kind of switched my business model to be a little bit less dependent on clients reaching out to me. I have launched an online course and done a bunch of other online things that I'm kind of diversifying my income and stuff like that. So I'm not massively worried financially, but probably the main effect has just been mentally, and trying to focus on like helping the clients I do have and working on the products and experiences that I have has been difficult when there's a global pandemic going on.
Yeah. No, I was the same. First week of like complete lockdown was a complete write-off for me. I mean, it is, I don't know, I'm in a similar position to you, but I feel like it's just like the uncertainty of it all just in general, like just carries through. Yeah.
For sure.
I actually want to talk, well, there are two ways I could go with this. I want to talk about how you diversify your income, because I think like now, like there are a lot of people right now who probably make 100% of their income from their client work and are now in a bit of a tough position. But like diversifying your income or creating additional income streams is a really good way to make up for it. So what have you done?
What have I done?
Yeah.
So I've actually always kind of had a few different income streams alongside freelancing. I've done some tutoring and run workshops and stuff like that. And then towards the end of last year, when I decided that I wanted to shift primarily to doing strategy, I also decided that I wanted to create something that would allow me to teach and reach one-to-many instead of one-to-one. When you do things one-to-one, you're limited in your time because you're spending that hour or whatever with that one person, and they're paying a limited amount of money. But if you do one-to-many, you teach for that 1 hour or do whatever you do for that 1 hour, and you can reach hundreds or thousands of people potentially who all pay that money. And so, I decided that I love teaching anyway. It's something I was already doing. So I decided that I would launch an online course and a group program. And so one of them is already launched and the other one is coming very soon. And they're just two different ways that people can learn from me, because I want to make branding something that is accessible to anybody. So you might not be able to pay me to work with you one-on-one to do your strategy for you, but maybe you can come and do my program and learn how to do it yourself, or do it alongside with us. So I want to make options for everybody wherever they are at, in their business. And so, yeah, that's where the different programs come in, and those are ways that I have diversified my income.
And so how did you create your online course? Like, what are like the tools that you use to make it all?
Yeah, so it's mainly hosted on Teachable. That's where all the content is hosted. And then I use, I just switched to Google Hangouts for the group calls that we do. And then I just have a Facebook group, and I use ConvertKit to email everybody and to do my marketing for that. Yeah, that's my suite of things.
Nice. That sounds awesome. So do you think if you look at your, like, obviously you don't know what the future holds, especially these days, you don't know what the future holds, but if you had to kind of like imagine where you would like to go with the work that you're doing now, do you have like an idea where you want to shift it towards? Like, do you want to focus more on like doing more doing more client work, maybe like higher value client work? Or do you think that long term what you'd ideally like to do is shift to like that one-to-many model through like different courses or workshops and all those types of things?
Yeah, the one-to-many is definitely what I am aiming towards, and not just because it's one-to-many and that's like a great strategy to use, but it's because I love to teach, and that has always been something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a teacher before I even knew about design. I wanted to be an English teacher before that, and so yeah, teaching is just what I love to do. And I recently went back and discovered what my strengths are. I looked really intensely at what I'm really good at. And what I'm good at is strategic thinking and relating to people, and kind of empathizing with where they're at, and forming really good relationships with them. And so combining all those together means that coaching and teaching is perfect for me, because I can help people to bring their vision to life, and help them with that big strategic thinking, help them to execute those things, and work with them really closely and really well to bring out what they're really passionate about. And so, yeah, the teaching and doing more courses, or just making my courses even better, is where I'm at. I'm currently in the process of like streamlining those and figuring out what those exactly are going to be, and how it's going to work. And so, yeah, that's the plan.
Amazing. Well, I could go on about this for a lot longer, but the purpose of this is also to kind of come up with some like actionable little tips and tricks for potential future Hollies, like the more junior brand designers. And so I kind of want to start at the very, very beginning, when you are not even a freelancer, but you're just someone that loves the idea of branding things or design. What do you think is a good way to enter the market when you have like, let's say, no commercial experience doing work for people? How do you enter the market? How do you charge people if you have never like done commercial work before? What kind of thoughts do you have on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you definitely can. I don't think you should ever be scared if you don't feel like you have the experience, because you can make that experience. Because what I was going to say is that a great way to get practice in and to show some work is to make some of your own work. So there's a bunch of challenges online that are like logo design challenges, where they give you a brief and it tells you like, hey, I'm this fake client, and here's the brand that I want to make, and here's my business, and blah, 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 blah. And you go and create this brand for it. And so doing things like that means that you're like practicing your process. You'll have some work to put in your portfolio. You can explain the process you went through and your case studies, like all of that stuff. While it's not like real commercial work, it shows that you know what you're doing. And just having a few of those could be all that you need to get that first client. And another thing that you can do is like start doing work for your friends or people that you know, just to get another 1 or 2 projects under your belt. Offer volunteer work. I did a lot of volunteer work for my church at the time, and that gave me a bunch of experience and a bunch of stuff that I could put in my portfolio, while also, you know, doing something nice for people who needed it. So, you know, you could reach out to charities or to other businesses that might need your help, and say, hey, I'm trying to get this experience. I'm really passionate about what you do. Can I help you redo your brand or work on some graphic design stuff with you? And then, yeah, you just need 1 or 2 good projects to put in your portfolio, and could be the one that will get you your first real commercial project. So, yeah, make up some of your own work, and reach out to maybe volunteer, or offer your services to friends or acquaintances or family. And another really important thing is to make it really clear that you are available for work. There's a lot of people who are like, I'm looking for work, or I want to get my first client, or I want to do my first branding job or whatever. But there's nowhere online or anywhere that it says, hey, I'm looking for work. So it's as simple as like putting in your Twitter bio, like available for freelance work, or putting out a tweet that says, hey, I've got free spots for work this month. Because if you don't tell people that you're free and you want to do the work, they're never going to know. So yeah, put it out there.
Also upgrade to Unicorn Factory Premium for $13 a month. No, it's actually more now. I'm sorry. I'm just joking. Another thing that I've actually seen someone I've seen people do online that I find really cool is just redesigning existing brands, adding your own touch on it. But I agree, it's just definitely getting your work out there, doing work, and then getting it out there and showing people that you're capable of delivering something, you know, because like that is really, I think like when it comes down to experience, I think what I found, at least for the Unicorn Factory, is that like a lot of clients is just mainly reducing the risk. Like they just want to make sure that the person that they find and hire is capable of doing the work. And if you are capable of doing the work, then you're kind of halfway there already. Now, besides honing your craft of becoming the best designer, or, you know, whatever area you're in, what are some like non-skill, like some non-like technical skills that you should work on if you want to kind of do well as a freelancer or as running your own agency?
Yeah, I think the number one that I would say is being good with people, and like relationship building, because the people who work with you, especially those first few, could be clients for life, number one, are also going to be your best referral opportunities to get more work. And you really want to create an experience for them that is like amazing. You want to wow them. You want to give them like the red carpet treatment. You want to treat them like the most important person in the world, and make sure that that experience is like so easy, so seamless, super fun. You know, they're investing money in you, and time and effort and resources. And so you need to like learn how to talk to them, learn how to listen to them, more importantly, learn how to, just treat them like a friend, but professionally, and treat them like somebody who you really value, because you should, because especially if they're one of your first, you know, they're trusting you, and like Connor said, they're putting a lot of risk potentially in working with you. So the kind of non-design skills that I think are the most important are like the people skills. How do you also navigate when things go wrong, or you mess up, or you miss something, or, you know, like even times like now, right? I've had days where I can't work because I'm so distracted by freaking coronavirus. And so, you know, there's been times where I have to communicate with my clients and apologize that things aren't on time potentially, or that I'm sick. You know, how do you tell someone that you're sick, or how do you explain to them if they've got questions about something, or they don't understand how the process works, or whatever. It's just about how do you communicate with people, how do you listen to them, how do you make their experience so good that they want to come back, they want to tell everyone about you. People skills all the way.
Fully agree, because you can kind of apply people skills to pretty much any area that you find yourself in. If you, especially I think where it comes, because I think a lot of people think that having good people skills is useful to get new work, but it actually is it's way more useful when it comes to like difficult decision making, or like particularly if you make a bad mistake, you know, like I've been in that situation before where I've run like Facebook ads for people and I've accidentally had the budget set slightly too high. And by slightly too high, I mean like disastrously too high. And like if you take like really bad, but if you take the approach of like, you know, making like right people decisions, I feel like long term you always come out on the right side, even if it has a kind of, you know, maybe it has like a slight short-term negative effect. Maybe your client will let you go, but yeah, I've kind of always found that whenever you take that approach, you just come out on the right side pretty much all the time.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think it's like you could be the best designer in the world, but if you're like not nice to work with, I was going to swear then, but I won't. If you're not nice to work with and people don't want to talk to you, you're not approachable, you're not fun to work with, then your talent's just going to go to waste, because no one's going to want to work with you and no one's going to refer you, and you're not going to get that reputation as like, man, you want to work with Hollie or you want to work with Connor because it's so fun. I had the best time. Booking in with them was so easy. They sent me everything I needed. Like they were with me the whole time. They explained to me exactly how the process was going to work. Like that's the kind of stuff you want to hear, not like, oh my God, like Hollie was really difficult and I had trouble communicating with her and she never replied to me, and like that's not what you want to hear, you know? So I think this stuff is probably even more important than being a good designer, because you can continually learn as a designer, and if you have a great relationship with a client, then they'll work with you as you grow and as you learn along the way. So it's more important probably to be just a better person and grow those communication and people.
Love it. Well, I'm going to start wrapping it up because I want to stay within the limits of the video lengths that I'm aiming for here. But if someone wants to do your course or get in touch with you or ask follow-up questions, what is the best way to get in touch with you?
If you want to talk to me, then Twitter is a great place to do that. I am Hollie_Arnett. And if you want to find out more about the course or anything else that I do, you just want to kind of stalk me, then blackandwhitestudios.nz is the place to go for that.
Awesome. Well, Hollie, I appreciate it. It was really great. And I think there's some really good insights to take away, especially if you are, just getting into the design space, it's just a great place to get started. But I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you very much for taking the time to have a chat with me. And we're going to chat more because we're still working on the brand. But this is pretty much it. This was the second episode. And thanks very much for watching. If you want to freelance, sign up to the Unicorn Factory. Other than that, I don't think I have much else to sell. So see you and goodbye.